The name of the presentation, as you can see, Digital Threat Awareness, Protecting Kids in the Age of Social Media. I was a police officer, 27 years, retired from the University of Arkansas. That's not the only agency I worked for. I worked for the DEA Drug Task Force as well as the 15th Drug Task Force. I spent 3 years working undercover buying drugs for some very hard, violent, mean people. People that are in jail now, I'm happy to say. All right, in my time on the street, I bumped into all kinds of sex offenders, pedophiles, the lowest of the low that humanity can offer. And unfortunately, they now have a new tool that they can network. They have social networks. They can talk to each other. They can formulate plans on how they want to go after kids, playgrounds, the mall, things like that. So this monitor here is not on for some reason. I was trying to see where I was, if you don't mind. Thank you. I'll give her an outline here in just 1 second. Hey, on their first presentation, Satan showed up. He said, you guys aren't doing this. We're going to stop it right now. I do have a backup. It's on my phone. I'm going to wait and see. We're loading. I'm not sure how you feel at PowerPoint. I'm not a big fan of it, but in some ways it's a good tool to get information across. Hey there. If this one doesn't work, I'll just go off that one. We'll call it good. Sweet. Next slide, please. All right, we're going to talk about the ever-growing threat to your kids, grandkids, loved ones in the social media world. We'll discuss criminal statutes as they pertain to children as victims or children as the perpetrators of the crimes. We'll discuss 3 actual case studies that I worked in my career in law enforcement that deals with why you're here tonight. And we'll discuss tools to help use parents and grandparents to monitor your kids' and grandkids' activity and stop the threat from entering your home. And if we have time, we'll do a question and answer. Next slide, please. Most kids do not understand the permanent nature of their online digital footprint. What the heck does that mean? What is a digital footprint? Anything they post online is permanent. Everything they click on is stored somewhere. The photos they send, the harassing text, pornographic websites, all of that, their keystrokes are logged. They don't seem to understand. During the January 6th events at the Capitol, people were live streaming themselves at the Capitol. If I was going to shoplift, I probably wouldn't put it online as I'm doing it, right? It's that generation, something has changed. I'm not sure they get cause and effect. Young people just, their world, the virtual world, has become more real to them than where we are right now. All right, their danger of grooming by sexual predators. What do I mean by grooming? You guys have heard the term confidence scam, a con man, right? Well, these predators pose as a 12-year-old girl or a 15-year-old boy and start sending instant messages to their target. Talk, and then they'll send fake photos of themselves. I'm a 12-year-old girl too, to win their confidence before they start what their real intentions are. All right, 3 extortion attempts. This is the sad one. And number 4, online harassment. 5, human trafficking. That term is thrown about a lot. Do you guys know what it really means? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. What is human trafficking? That's definitely one aspect of it. Smuggling them across the border and selling them to rich families up north. That's in our country. Yeah, it's crazy. Human trafficking is the illegal importation of youngsters or grown-ups. It happens to grown-ups too. They send them somewhere, get them hooked on drugs, and sell them into prostitution or worse. 6, what a sexual predator is, and under the Arkansas laws, what the 4 sexual offender levels mean. Next slide, please. My eyes aren't near good enough for that. All right, this is a somewhat boring portion. This is going to be one of the criminal statutes. This one is called cyberbullying. Have you guys heard of that before? Online harassment of other kids. All right. A person commits the offense of cyberbullying if he or she transmits, sends, or posts a communication by electronic means with the purpose to frighten, coerce, intimidate, threaten, abuse, or harass another person, and the transmission was in furtherance of severe, repeated, or hostile behavior toward the other person. If boyfriend and girlfriend break up, she sends him one harassing text. That's not cyberbullying. Repeated severe threats, right? In the juvenile justice system, the prosecutors they tend to look towards diversion versus throwing somebody in juvie. A person thrown in a juvenile detention center is not a good place to be. So if we can correct the problem before it even starts as a parent, that's a win, right? I don't want my kids anywhere near that detention center. Next slide, please. So that's cyberbullying under Arkansas law. This one is disgusting. It's a crime of video voyeurism. All right, let's read the boring part. It is unlawful to use any camera, videotape, photo-optical, photoelectric, or any image recording device for the purpose of secretly observing, viewing, photographing, filming, or videotaping a person present in a residence, place of business, school, or other structure, or any room or particular location within that structure, if the person is in a private area at a public view, has reasonable expectation of privacy, has not consented to the observation. How in the world would you consent to something if you don't even know what's going on, right? Most folks don't know they're being taken advantage of. It is unlawful to knowingly use a camcorder, motion picture camera, photographic camera of any type, or other equipment that is concealed or disguised to secretly or surreptitiously videotape, film, photograph, record, or view by other electronic means of person. So Hollywood people tend to get hacked a lot. Why? Because on the dark web, nude photos of stars, that's a lot of money, right? You tend to hear about this happen a lot with celebrity stays at a certain hotel. They're put in a certain room where there's a camera behind the mirror and they're videotaped. Either extorted or they just sell that video. Illegal. It's a felony. Next slide, please. All right, this will be the last statute we'll go over. Sexual extortion. We touched on that in the very first, the father talked about his son. That was extortion, where they said, we're going to send this video to all your contacts. A person commits the offense of sexual extortion if, with a purpose to coerce another person to engage in sexual contact or sexually explicit conduct, the person communicates a threat to damage the property or harm the reputation of the other person, or produce or distribute a recording of the other person engaged in sexually explicit conduct or depicted in a state of nudity. All right. With the purpose to produce or distribute a recording of a person in a state of nudity or engaged in sexually explicit conduct. So this is probably one of the harder ones to deal with, because how many kids want to tell their parents they're being threatened by some online website? Who wants to go tell mom and dad, there's a video of me naked online, and I can't imagine a child wanting to tell their parent. So as a parent or grandparent, you need to understand these laws are on the books for a reason. We have these laws because these crimes happened. We said, hey, we need to have something that prevents this, or makes it illegal, that activity. Next slide, please. All right, under Arkansas law, convicted sex offenders categorized in 1 through 4 categories. Level 1 being an offender who's at low risk to reoffend, to commit that crime again. 2, an offender who is at a moderate risk to reoffend. 3, an offender who is at a high risk to reoffend. And 4, these are the monsters. An offender who's at very high risk to reoffend, a sexually violent predator. You may ask yourself, why is a guy that's a sexually violent predator out of prison? I don't have an answer for you. Next slide, please. All right. Does anybody here have a smartphone? Let's do a little audience participation right now. Knowledge is power, right? So, what I'm going to have you guys do is go to a certain website. It's the Arkansas Crime Information Center, the Sex Offender Registry. What this registry is, you can search it by offender, bad guy's last name, first name, by county, or you can search by zip code. So, put in the search engine, put ACIC, Sex Offender Registry. When you get that, let me know. ACIC, Arkansas Crime Information Center. Is everyone there? When you get there, you have to hit accept at the bottom of the page. The next page pulls up some dialog boxes. You can see it's got the offender's last name, first name, county. For right now, just type in Greenwood zip code or wherever you live, that zip code in the very bottom one. Once you do that, hit search, and then the magic happens. When you see the Google Maps come up with little circles, each circle is a sex offender depending on what level they are. If you make your map where you can see way out, you see there's at least one level 4 sex offender that lives around here, and several other levels, 2 through 3. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? If you need help, I'll come help you. Right. Now, I'm not doing this to scare you guys or ladies. I'm just letting you know there is a threat, it's real, and it's out there. These people are preying on children. All right, next slide, please. All right, this is a case study, a case I worked when I was at the University of Arkansas. In this case, a college freshman male was contacted by an online malicious website, a website he'd been on previously that day, and they showed him a video of himself nude, and he was watching a nude model online from their website. You fill in the blanks. They hacked his laptop camera, and they said, we're going to send this video to all your contacts. And they did their research. They knew whose friends were in Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. They knew all this. And they named those people by name. We're going to send this video to them unless you send us $2,500 by money order. If you were a freshman in college, did you have $2,500? Most don't. Somehow this kid got the money together, paid it. What do you think happened? Thanks. Now we need $5,000. And now this man is distraught, maybe even suicidal. He's too ashamed to tell his parents. He tells his older brother, who he trusts. Older brother says, Junior, get to law enforcement right now. We started an investigation. Never pay. You're going to have a hard talk with your kids or grandkids. If anything like this happens, you have to know about it now. It's very hard to get a conviction and arrest people. Most of these sites are in the Netherlands, Holland, Amsterdam. Those sex sites are over there. And that's all they do. They videotape people and then extort money from them. It's sad. That happened right here in this state. They did not get another dime from that student. We talked to his parents. They understood. No more. Done with that. All right, next case study, please. This is a college freshman female. When she graduated high school on the East Coast, she thought it'd be a good idea to make a commercial pornographic video. I don't know why, but she did. She comes to U of A, first semester freshman. Within a couple of days of being here, guys started contacting her. I saw your video. I know who you are. They didn't threaten. They didn't ask for money. They just harassed her. We don't need you in our school. We don't need these kind of people, on and on and on and on and on. She finally came to us, and people that do this, they use their real name on their Snapchat account or whatever. They're all students. Let's talk about these online posts. I'll never do it again. They didn't. But she's going to have a lifetime of shame of this. Wherever she goes, it's going to follow her. It's tragic. Next slide. This one really gets me. When I was chief up at XNA, I worked a case with the Customs Service to investigate interstate travel to groom a child sexually. An out-of-state male started chatting with what he thought was a 12-year-old female in Bentonville. As their online communications continued over time, the male became much more open about what he'd like to do to the young girl. He went into great detail how he'd fly to XNA, get a rental car, pick her up and take her to a motel for sexual activity. He flew into XNA. He's under surveillance. We waited until he got his rental car to further use that in court against him and arrested him. He had ropes, duct tape, and condoms in the car. What do you think his end result plan for that girl was? Kill her. Fortunately, the 12-year-old girl he went to have relations with was a customs agent posing as a female. He's in the federal pen. So that one had a happy ending. None of this is done to terrify, oh my gosh, everything's horrible. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to understand what the threat is. It's real. It's pernicious and it's evil. Next slide, please. All right, what can you do as a parent? Real quick. Or a grandparent or a guardian. As a parent, Arkansas law recognizes you have a legal right to give your children instruction. They have a legal obligation to follow what you tell them. Yeah, I know, teenagers, I get it. But they do. You have a legal right to limit what they do. It's not unconstitutional. It's not a violation of their privacy. You folks know the real world's kind of scary, right? They haven't learned that yet. You have the right to know who they're friends with, where they're going, and what they're doing online. Unfortunately, as parents, we fall into the trap, and I'm a parent. Oh, my kid's got a cell phone. They're cool. They can, if a car breaks down, they can call me. Where are they going? What are they doing on that cell phone? That's the problem here. All right, you can limit their cell phone use. You can take it away. Yeah. I know this, I'm giving you easy stuff. It's just level 1 parenting, but as parents, we have this issue. Well, I don't want to invade my kids' privacy. I trust them. It's not about them. It's about those people out there that you have to look out for, right? Younger people don't understand cause and effect yet. You've got to be the heavy, so to speak. Now, you may have a great relationship with your kids. Maybe you can talk openly. But you need to have that hard talk with them about what's really going on in the world. All right, privacy concerns. We just talked about that one. And the last part is you have the right to install online media monitors and filters. I'm not associated with any company I'm about to suggest to you. These are just open source companies that can monitor your kids' activity, block harmful content, filter things out, and send you a report. Next slide, please. I put in no particular order, but the top one is a Christian company. It's called Covenant Eyes. Website's www.covenanteyes.com. If you want to take photos, I'll wait. That's fine. All right, these are all subscription services. Theirs is around $17 a month, and almost all of these have the same business model, unlimited devices, laptops, computers, iPads, whatever. I would highly suggest you guys look at these, talk to your friends and family, and make some hard decisions. The next one is Q Studio. It's the same again. They offer online monitoring plans starting at $833 a month. Somehow I got a most expensive, least expensive. That was not my plan. That's how it worked out. The next is Canopy, another one. Started at $8 a month. The last one is Bark. They have a dog as their symbol, and they do the same thing. You can have filters, you can have accountability, you can have reporting. You can tailor it to whatever you need. If you have a child and they have a smartphone or they're on the internet, we can't do like we used to. We can't put our head in the sand. I highly recommend you look at this and think about where you go from here. My kids are in college now. One's out, one's a teacher, the other one's going to be graduating soon. If I had younger kids, this is a no negotiation issue here. You will have this. Not, I'm heavy-handed. I'm saying people want to hurt you. I don't want that to happen because I love you. That's how you need to sell this, if you want to call it selling. All right, next. All right, I'm going to have to hurry. What time is it right now? Oh, I was supposed to be done by 6:50. Look at that. Awesome. Quickly, does anybody have any questions about what we talked about? I can tell you in my time undercover, going after and buying drugs from bad guys, in every meth lab I went in, there was pornography. Every single meth lab. I never saw one without pornography. It's an insidious lifestyle. Once you start sliding over and doing some questionable things, it gets easier and easier to where I've interviewed hundreds of prisoners, and they tell me the same thing. How did I get here? I'm hopeless. I can't break this. Yeah, you can, but you're going to need help. I did not want to terrify people tonight, but I wanted to show you the reality of the world we live in today. It's not the same we grew up in. Riding my bicycle for 10 hours and coming home for supper, those days are gone. So we need to adjust our behavior accordingly.